Joy 1019, New York's #1 for throwbacks.
Good morning and welcome to Tany Talks Live. This week we are talking about heartbreak. Oh, very sad. But I have my girl here. My girl Lynn is in the building to talk a little bit about heartbreak.
What's up? What's up?
So I know, like, as a girlies, and we're girlies, have you ever experienced heartbreak before?
Yes, definitely. I got stories.
She's like, I got stories.
But you know, I mean, more so when I was like younger, my like teenage years through like early 20s, mid 20s. I don't know. I feel like being like 30 years old now. Like I feel like a grown woman, and I look at those relationships in a different light. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I almost don't look at it as necessarily a heartbreak anymore, but I know it was a heartbreak for sure in that time.
Yeah, I think there's like different levels to like heartbreak. You know, like you have like the childish ones, like your first love, quote unquote, or like you know, like they say like you fall in love like 3 times in your life. You ever heard like that thing that was like, oh, your childhood love, and then the one that really broke your heart, and then like the one that comes about like unexpectedly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like that. I feel like you could love multiple people in your lifetime. But there's also like that debate between like loving someone and then being in love too and all that. So.
Yeah, because there is a difference between love and being in love, right? I always like hear that. But I feel like, so what is love then? Regular love, like just love.
I think everyone has their own definition. Like when you feel it, you'll just know within yourself. For me, like for me personally, I know I love someone when I'm thinking more about them through my day. You know what I mean? When I'm like praying for them at night, you know, and I'm hoping the best for them. Like I feel like when I'm genuinely when I'm concerned about them.
The
you
individual.
Know what I mean? Yeah, like I don't know. I've also
like you want to protect them.
I want to protect them. Definitely. That's how I would feel like I love somebody for sure.
Okay, and then what is in love?
I mean, I think being in love, for me, it takes time. It takes time and more of like more emotion, more depth, more time together, like meeting my family, all of that.
I feel like they say like when you fall in love, you could fall out of love.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's like a valid thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so being in love is not like loving someone, because like if you love someone, you love them unconditionally, you love them forever, right? And then when you're in love, it's like, oh, I loved you, and now I'm no longer like in love.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about like heartbreak and what that feels like. Because I have been heartbroken a few times. I will be honest. I would say like probably 3 times.
Wow.
A good 3 times. And I'm not gonna lie. Each time I think about it, like I feel hurt just thinking about it. Like, cause like the pain, Jesus, that I felt when I got my heart broken. Let me tell y'all, I felt like I was gonna die. Yeah. You ever like got your heart broken and you feel like you can't breathe?
I say that all the time.
Jesus.
And I have like a lot of anxiety. So I say that all the time when I've experienced heartbreak. For me, I mean, people say like when you get divorced, it's like a death, and I couldn't agree with that more. I think
it feels like someone died.
It feels like a death. Yeah, for me, like it feels just like you're mourning somebody, you know, like you're mourning the loss of what your relationship.
Like I say that too. I be feeling like sometimes I have to have like a funeral for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I have to have, like, a funeral for them in a way where it's like, okay, I got to pay my last respects. You know what I'm saying? This was great. We had a good time.
100%.
But, like, when I feel heartbreak, I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like someone is, like, sitting on my chest. Mm-hmm. I'm, like, crying my eyeballs out. Mm-hmm. And, like, how does heartbreak feel for you?
Same thing. I think that I've done better, too. That's another thing. I've done better with age. Because when I feel like in my teenage years, if I broke up with someone, it was like, I was very codependent, I think, too, with my relationship. So I think that when I broke up with someone, I felt a little desperate. I felt like I had to be the person to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to, like, beg almost, like, to save the relationship. But I've always been that way, even with friends, like, when I was really young.
Like, you keep trying and you try really hard.
Yeah, I keep trying and trying, yes. Yeah. And, like, a true Cancer through and through. Very emotional. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I feel like when you're, like, experiencing heartbreak, like, there are times where I felt like I didn't want to get up to, like, shower. Bro, I didn't want to, like, meet up with my friends. Yeah. Like, it really felt like death in a way. And that's so crazy how, like, I'm having a heart attack. Like, you ever, like, really been so heartbroken you really felt it? Like, in your chest?
Absolutely. To the point where you're sobbing so uncontrollably.
Right.
Like, it's just... especially with having anxiety, because I struggle with anxiety. Me too. Like, my whole life, very deeply, to the point, like, when you don't understand, when I was a kid, I was that girl that, like, I would come home to my mom and cry if a kid didn't like me in school. Like, I was that
like,
kid.
You have to like me.
Yes.
I think
like,
I was
and if
too.
you didn't like me, I felt some type of way. I felt so bad about myself. Like, what is it? What's the problem?
Wrong with me?
And then as I got older, I feel like that progressed with my relationship. With, like, okay, now a guy did something to me or cheated or broke up with me. What is it about me? You know what I mean? Like, what was wrong with me? So when I would get heartbroken, it would just be this extreme depression of, like, second guessing who I am and what it is about me. And now, I mean, I look back, I've gotten so much better with that stuff where I don't, you know, you could be in love with someone, but you don't want to make them your everything. Your end all be all. Right. And I think when I was younger, I made people my everything.
I feel like as women, we just do that because I feel like as women, we're like, when we grow up, we're raised to, like, be everything to them. Like, in some weird way, like, that's what women are, like, told to be. Like, women, like, men, they grow up, like, with relationships, like, oh, you have to provide, so you have to work on your career, and you have to do that. But women, we're told to, like, take care of the, like, the home and the person. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like, it's difficult for us because it's like, as much as we do want to still continue to go on our careers and things like that, a piece of us still wants, like, that happy family home kind of women-y, you know, nurturing type vibe.
Absolutely, that nurturing vibe. But then I have some friends, like some female friends who just... They've always been able to kind of, like, have that separation and not that codependency where they could be in a relationship.
I'm so codependent.
Yeah, they could be in a relationship and it won't be like, oh, like this big disaster if the relationship ends. But for me, I always felt like it was the end of the world. Like, it was the end of everything. And now, I don't know. Now I feel like I've gotten better with that. Like, I love my partner with all my heart.
God bless you.
I know that, like, if he were to go tomorrow, I'd be okay. And I think that's important to have.
Right. I feel like a lot of women also feels like when they're going through heartbreak sometimes, especially when they're, like, in the relationship, they probably feel like they can't get anyone else. Like, that was the best person I ever had, you know?
Yes.
And sometimes that's why we keep kind of running back and doing those kind of things, because something in our weird head makes us feel like this is the best person for us, and we forget that there's always more fish in the sea, even though it's hard to find fishes, in my opinion. But you know what I mean? Like, but I feel like going through heartbreak, like, it hurts so much, and I want to just take a moment to show, like, what that looks like, right? So your friend might be going through heartbreak, and you might not even know, you know, depending on the person, right? Sometimes your friends would lean to you in heartbreak, and sometimes people really isolate themselves during heartbreak, you know? Like, there's been times where, like, I wasn't eating. I couldn't even eat. Like, I didn't want to shower. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I'm crying all damn day. Like, heartbreak hurts so much. And I feel like heartbreak is a part of life. I feel like almost everyone has been through heartbreak. And if it's not heartbreak, then definitely a crush.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like, everyone has, like, someone who didn't like them back. And that's actually why it's called a crush. Because it crushes you.
It's soul crushing.
It crushes you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally. Have you ever, like... How did it feel like to, like, deal with a crush? Because crushes are easier to deal with, I feel like, because, you know.
I think it's just kind of, I would deal with a crush or someone who doesn't like me back now in the same way that I would deal with even a friend who doesn't like me for whatever reason, anyone who doesn't like me for whatever reason, where it's just as, like, building up that worth within yourself, you know, so like that it could get to a place where, like, okay, you're lost then. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just kind of doing the work on yourself to get to that point, you know?
Yeah, I feel like in order to deal with heartbreak, sometimes you have to also remember, like, how much you love yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we forget that when we go through heartbreak. Sometimes all we think about is how much you love that person and how much you put in for that person. But then you have to love that person as much as you love you, And sometimes we forget to love ourselves.
Yeah.
During the process of heartbreak. Like, sometimes, we gotta change the way we're thinking. Like, oh, stop looking at it as a bad thing and look at it as a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
what's not meant for you won't be for you.
Period. And we gotta keep telling ourselves that. I feel like I was looking into something and they had like stages of like heartbreak, and I wanted to like go over that. So the first one is like denial. When you feel like, oh, it's not really true, this isn't really happening, no, there's no way, I can't believe it, right? And then the next is anger. Where you're like, oh no, this person just broke my heart. I'm gonna key his car. I'm gonna flatten his tires. I'm gonna go to his mom's house. I'm gonna egg his door. Like, that kind of anger, because I'm crazy like that. When I'm hurt, I'm gonna try to hurt you back. If I'm hurt, I'm gonna try to hurt you back. Like, that's just how I am, and that's how the anger part, flows for me. Then it's bargaining. More like what you were saying, like, oh, how can I make this work? Yeah. What was wrong with me? What can I do better? Maybe I was crazy to think to key his car. Yeah. Maybe, it wasn't the right thing. So then you start bargaining, like, in your head. And then the next one is depression, where really the sadness comes, where you're finally like, this person isn't good for me. Like, this is like the person I thought I was going to spend my life with. What am I going to do? How am I going to reorganize my life? And then the last one is called acceptance, where you're like, this is done. I have to move on, and I have to put myself kind of forward. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into a small musical break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about kind of like dealing with heartbreak and what to do to kind of get over it. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back with Tany Talks Live.
Hey.
This is New York's #1 for throwbacks. The new Party 1019, a Nexus radio station.
Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Welcome back to Tany Talks Live. And on today's episode, we are talking about heartbreak. Okay. It's February, almost Valentine's Day, so I feel like this topic is always on point, y'all. I love my audience because you guys always pick the really dopest topics. So we're talking about heartbreak, which is very appropriate for this time. And I got my girl Lynn in the building. She is a model, photographer here talking about her heartbreak. You want to talk a little bit about some heartbreak experience? Can we get a good juicy story in?
Hey, okay. Wow. The first one that comes to mind, I was in like a very volatile, like on and off relationship for like 8 going on 9 years.
Wow.
Fresh out of high school.
That was always cute.
He was, around my family and everything, and it was a very, very rocky road. And needless to say, after many times of taking him back and forgiving him for various things, the breaking straw for me, it was heartbreaking for me. But basically, I was the one who ended the relationship.
You were strong enough to end it,
right?
God bless
because I had caught him. Basically, he traveled to a whole nother country to cheat on me.
So he went there specifically to cheat?
Yeah.
No, you're lying. He booked a flight to cheat?
Absolutely.
He's reaching far as F to cheat. Like, you can't just go with the girl around the corner.
Right.
What country did he go to?
Right. I believe it was the Philippines.
He went all the way out to the Philippines to get some.
No. So for some backstory, though, he was in the military. So if that makes sense. So
that makes sense. I don't trust these military guys, y'all. I would never.
No, PSA. No. I love y'all. Shout out to our troops and everything. But it was a problem. It was a problem. And it was the last straw. He did that. And then it was just some other stuff. And that, when you're with someone for a long time, past a certain amount of years, and you integrate them into your family,
girl,
into
the embarrassment,
your friend group, the humiliation, it's not even just you that's heartbreaking. It breaks everyone's heart.
It does.
It broke my mom's heart. You know what I'm saying? It breaks everyone's heart.
Your friends, right? Yeah.
Then immediately after that, I started dating. I thought I was dating this cool dude. Everything looked great, picturesque. Turns out he was like CIA, like leading a whole double life. Like still with his ex-girlfriend. Like it was a whole ordeal. And that was heartbreaking because I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't catch a break. I just got out of this crazy situation. And
heartbreak after heartbreak after
literally. And then I'm thinking, okay, this dating thing is going well. And then that happened like literally immediately after. So one heartbreak after the next. I would say my very first heartbreak, I was younger. I was like maybe 16, 17. And like, you know, small little relationship. But yeah, that was my first experience with like actually like feeling like I love somebody and all of that. But that specific situation with my ex of that long period of time was very heartbreaking. That was like really, it was a death. I had to.
It was a death?
It was literally at a point where I took the stance of, you're getting blocked on everything.
That's
and
crazy.
when you, and they always come back, y'all.
Let that be known.
They always come back. And when he came back, I couldn't even bring myself to respond. It had to be just cold turkey. Like, for my own sanity, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And so yeah, after all that, I kind of swore off dating for a little bit. But then my current partner kind of like snuck on in there and
shout outs to the boo. Shout outs to him.
But yeah, I mean that it does. It felt like a death. I'm not gonna lie, and it was a death that I had to mourn in my brain. It was like a person I had to mourn. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. So I feel like, what do we do to get over the heartbreak? Because like I've had some heartbreak situations where like the thing that broke my heart was like, I can't believe you did this to me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, to me.
Like,
you did this to me.
You did this to me. Like, for instance, like, I had a situation. I'm gonna have to bring it up. It's kind of juicy. Like with my daughter's father or whatever. We had like broken up or whatever. He was talking to whoever he was talking to, and I was talking to whoever I was talking to. But like, I guess we were kind of both like a little bit jealous of like each other. Like, even we weren't in like relationships, but we were talking to other people.
Okay.
After like we've separated, right? And the thing is like, so I guess he came up to me. He's like, oh, I want my family back. I want to be with you. Like, leave that guy, whatever. And in my head, I'm like, okay, well, you know, he wants to be with us. He wants me to break up with the guy, whatever. I stop talking to the guy. I go and I sleep with, like, you know, the father of my kid, trying to be with them. And then, like, right after he leaves me, he goes to link up with the girl. Mm-hmm. Like, right after he leaves me. So I'm like, oh, no, he's not about to do that. Like, I don't got her number. So I'm calling her, like, hey, he was just with me. She's like, no, you're just a crazy baby mama. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want you. Mind you, she's in the car and he's linking up with her. Then he pulls up and takes her phone. He's already with her now. While I'm on the phone with her, he takes her phone and he's like, oh, you're just being crazy, And I'm like crying tears. Like, I literally just cut this dude off that I was talking to just to sleep with you. Mm-hmm. And you left me to go link up with this girl? Stop. Like, and then the next time I saw him, I was like grunting like an animal. I will never forget it, girl. I was breathing like I was a dinosaur. No, I'm kidding you not, because I couldn't even breathe straight. Like, I was breathing like breathing like that. Like, I was so upset that I, like, grabbed my key. I tried to key his car. Like, he tried to almost run me over on his car. Like, it was so bad because I was so hurt because I'm like, how could you do that to me? Like, out of all the women that you want to sleep with, why would you come to the mother of your kid, try to sleep with me?
Mm-hmm. That's a new level.
And then go link up with a girl that you said you didn't even really want. Like, why would you do that to me? Why would you play me? Like, if you just want to sleep with someone, there's a million other girls you could have slept with. Yeah. Why would you come to the person that you know has love for you, play me like that, and then leave me to go back with her? Like, if you didn't want to be with me, like, and then I could have just been with this guy. Mm-hmm. You just ruined it for me.
It's the narcissism. It's almost like he knew how much you loved him, and that, like, feeds that ego.
He's like, oh, I mean? Show me you love me. If you love me, you'll dead him right now. And I'm tired of that. Like, I'm sick of guys always feeling like we got to jump over hurdles to show you that we love you. Like, if you don't feel that we love you, then that's it. Like, I don't know what more you want me to do. Put I love you on my forehead? Yeah. Get a tattoo with your face on my, on my face? Like, Krishan? Like, what more do you need?
You know, it's so funny. Because we were just talking about this. Shout out to Lee. We were just talking about how I feel like guys like you more when you're
crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say a different word. When you're like just when
say a different word.
When you're mean, basically. Like, I feel like people, I mean, not just guys, I don't want to stereotype, but I feel like certain people gravitate to that toxicity where they'll actually treat you better when you're mean to them or ignoring them or like.
I noticed that too. Like, right? When you don't show a guy that you care and you're careless, for some reason guys want to be there. But when you show a guy, hey, I'm here for you. Hey, I'm coming for you. I won't even meet you halfway. I'll meet you all the way. They're just like, oh, she's gonna meet me all the way all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it gets it's really unfortunate. Like, it truly does suck. And I feel like if you ever experience heartbreak, I have some suggestions for you guys on like how to kind of get over it. Number one is there's other people out there who will know how to love you. Because I feel like when it comes to heartbreak, for me anyway, I feel like I get so heartbroken, and it makes me want to almost cry, like just to think about like how hard it is to get people to get how to love me. You know, like I feel like it's not hard. It's not hard to love someone. Like, and what breaks my heart is that like I'm loving you, and this person doesn't love me the way that I love them. Like, I feel like I'm always going through that in like my relationships where I really put myself all out there. I come off like maybe a little crazy, maybe a little like clingy, you know, needy or whatever it is. But it's like because I genuinely like care and I genuinely like love you, and all I want you to do is to love me back or show me that you love me back.
Twin flame. We're very similar with that. I feel like I said, I'm a very emotional person. I have a lot of feelings. I express them wholeheartedly. I leave it all out there. You'll get them paragraph text from me. You know what I mean?
Facts. Like I sent such a long text message yesterday to someone, and they're just like, I'm not reading this, like whatever. What? And I'm just like,
block.
No, I don't even need to block them, because at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna keep sending those paragraphs until you block me, because I can't block you because I love you. You know what I mean?
But you know what? It does get to a point, because I was so like that it did get to a point where I realized, okay, but is this like
I'm a clown?
Yeah, like what is this doing for me? Like, you're telling me that I'm pouring my soul out to you, and you can't give me the courtesy of
even reading my text message paragraph?
Then like you're not worthy to be in my life. And this is, you know, I don't know if we got into that yet, but like advice for getting over heartbreak. My number one thing genuinely is to focus solely on yourself.
It's so hard.
And bettering yourself. First of all, there's nothing more attractive than a person who is confident, who is about their business, who is going on about their life. Why do you think every time you move on and you're like doing well is when those people decide to come back?
They always come back. First of all, let's talk about it.
Because they see you confident and happy and doing well with yourself.
But
and
I feel
that's
like
an attractive thing.
But I feel like I've always been an ambitious person. I'm never gonna be where you left me. I'm always gonna keep upgrading. But it just is. I still find it hard to find someone, you know, that loves the way that I love, or gives me love the way that I need to get love. Or like, I always find myself always be like, hey, I'm here, love me, you know what I mean?
But
like,
you'll find them though.
I feel like I will, and I feel like,
and you won't have to work so hard when it comes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when
God,
he comes,
please.
It won't be like that. It won't be like you having to beg. You know what I'm saying? And settle for crumbs and scraps and someone just reading your text. It'll be a real thing that you'll know. And
I guess I'm really looking forward to it. Like one day, just, you know, finding, you know, my person and things like that. But I do know my value, and I feel like you guys don't settle yourself short. You know what I mean? Like, I have very specific standards in the person that I'm looking for, and I do appreciate every single heartbreak that I ever had, because it teaches me what I want and what I don't want in a relationship. You know what I mean? I know now that, you know, I don't have to work that hard to show somebody that I love them, you know? Now I know, like, I'm still worthy even though this person couldn't see my worth. Like, it's but so much I can do to make you see what you can't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I have a bad habit of like trying to force, you know, or paint somebody in the color that I feel like that they are. Like,
you fall in love with the person you created in your head.
Right. Oh my God, let's talk about that. Because they be a whole different person in my head, and then in reality, there are, you know, they're not nothing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like they're not a provider, you know. And then sometimes I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I gotta thank God for helping me dodge this bullet.
Yes.
I do, because I have a bad habit of painting a picture of somebody, painting them red, knowing that they're blue the whole time.
Yes.
I'm like, no, but they're red. No, they're actually blue.
You'll look back, too, on a person, right? Isn't it crazy? And be like, what the heck was I thinking? Because there was so many red flags. There was so many things that, you know, was not it from the very beginning that I totally overlooked. I know, ignored.
And we have to stop ignoring those red flags, guys. Because sometimes you'll be like, oh, well, you know, I have flaws too. No one's perfect, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like those same red flags you ignored in the beginning were the same red flags that hurt you at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to totally like get better at like dealing with heartbreak. And you know, I feel like we have to give ourselves time, right? Mm-hmm. Because heartbreak is like a wound, right? And all wounds don't heal immediately. Like when we get a scratch, it takes time for that scratch to heal, to develop into a scab, and then to like kind of fall off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to look at heartbreak the same way. Like, okay, it hurts. I know it does. Let's keep this wound clean from any infection, okay? Let's bandage it up, okay? And when we're ready, it'll be healed, and then the bandage or the scar itself or the scab, for instance, will fall off.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then, you know, you'll be a brand new person. But I would say take every single heartbreak situation and learn from them, right? Know, like, I know now, like, okay, I know the signs of loving someone who doesn't like me the same way back.
Yes.
You know, so now I'm like, okay, well, going forward, I know I have to be sure that that person is feeling me. Or like, if I start to feel like it's not the same, it's not mutual, just cut it off right there. Like, you know what, it ain't it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if the person is not, like, taking you out on dates and telling you you are beautiful, you know, and, like, doing anything just to make it convenient for you, if they're not being a gentleman, if they're not walking on the outside of the street, if they're not opening up car doors, there's, like, little things you could just see when someone isn't just putting in effort. If the person never hits you up and asks you, like, oh, I want to see you, and you're always, like, reaching out to them and asking them when you want to see, like, just fall back just a little bit, you know, and you will find love again. You know, heartbreak is heartbreak, but I was looking at a show yesterday, and it said, luckily, you only have to find the person that's for you once.
It's true, yeah.
You're always going to find the person that ain't for you, but the person that's for you, you only have to find them once. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm grateful for you that you have, like, your person, and, you know, you got after all those heartbreaks, you know, you found that one for you, you know, and I feel like I will find that one for me, like, eventually, and I feel like I'm still gonna love. I'm not gonna let, like, heartbreak stop me from loving and going forward. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you guys, you know, if you have any tips on anything of how to deal with heartbreak, or if you want to talk about, like, some heartbreak situation, you should always put in the comments below. Let us know, you know, what you guys do to get over, like, heartbreak. Like, do you sit home and do you listen to music? Yeah. Do you hang out with your friends? Do you hang out with family? Like, what do you do?
That's a good one. I was going to say, I think that a big thing I learned, too, whether it's heartbreak or, you know, the ending of a friendship or whatever it may be, the isolation, you know, it's really hard not to isolate yourself. I've been there. I can get very depressed and have social anxiety really bad, where when something's going on in my life, I will just disassociate and kind of shut out everyone for a period of time.
Yeah, you don't even want people to see you hurt either.
But that's, you know, it does more harm than it does good. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with friends and family will be the driving force to, like, push you through everything.
Yeah.
And also listen to your mom, y'all.
Listen to your mom. I swear, mom must be knowing low key.
Mom, like my mom, she always been right.
I got hand says, dial in on a hobby. It's especially best if you have a hobby that requires either manual labor or creating an art of some sort of form. Yeah. Which is true. Like, keep yourself busy.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I always find out when I go to work, I forget about it, but then when I get off of work, I remember again.
I know.
So, you know, I just wanted to, like, throw out some, you know, happy, healthy tips on how to kind of, like, deal with heartbreak. Okay, like, heartbreak sucks, but, you know, there's other people out there that will know how to love you.
That's the thing. In the moment, it feels literally like your soul's ripped out, and you will never find another one of that person. But the reality...
You don't want that person, though.
Exactly. Number one, you really don't want that person. And number two, you will realize that you will laugh again. You know what I'm saying? You will laugh again. You will cry again. You'll get heartbroken all over again. The cycle will continue, people. It will repeat. But you know what? It's just a part of life. And you have the good times and you have the bad times. And
sometimes all you can say is, like, damn, I tried and I tried and I tried. And I you know, I wanted to show them love, but they just weren't accepting of it. And I can't anymore. Yeah. Because you have to love yourself more than you love anyone else. You know, thank you so much for joining. This is my girl Lynn in the building.
Because in the moment, you might feel really lonely and like, damn, I really want someone. But then you look back and it's like, you know what? I should have enjoyed being single more and, like, doing things for myself more. You know, have one day of sobbing your little eyes out, and then you got to get back to out into the world. Yeah,
right.
I think you can mope around for, you know, give yourself a nice, good, long cry.
Right.
And then just
cry it out.
And then get on with it.
And then put your big girl panties on, like my mama would say.
Yeah.
And keep it pushing. Okay. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining Tany Talks Live, episode 7 of Heartbreak. Later, bye.